This is a new format that I'm using for my webpage. Different color scheme. I kept the same layout as I did before. The only main difference is the display from the cards. Before I had it set up to where every time you reloaded the page, it'll display a new card. Now I have it set up to where it'll pull a Staples cards list. And from there, I added all the image URLs into an array, shuffled it, and then it displays through each one every, I think I have it set up to 4 seconds. And the reason for the shuffling method is that way when you reload the page, it doesn't start off with the same order that the cards were in. Later on, once the app is more complete, I'll have below this a how to, just to explain thoroughly how to navigate through the app, what's its features, and I'm still using Superbase for my backend. I have these in place. They don't actually work yet. It just depends on whether or not I can get the developer accounts set up for free. And if I am able to, then users will be able to sign in instead of providing an email address. They could use any of these authentications. I still have the forget password, and the sign up and sign in accounts are still there. And search page, not much has changed with the actual search bar functionality. Later on, I'm thinking of adding a button here to pull out a drawer, and it'll kind of act as a filter. But currently, I still have just the basic search page. I have the setup to where I put the results, load more results on the bottom. It shows the number of results displayed. So the more that you load, the more results pop in the bottom. And as you can see, I still have the effect to where the cards load up slower than what they usually would. If I didn't have it set up that way, these would load instantly. So I feel for a more user friendly interface, I had it set up to where it just loaded up a little bit slower. I think it's just a second or two. And then I added a button to scroll back to the top. Another thing I fixed was the setup with the button group over here. Now it's not stuck to the side. It's on its own right at the bottom with all the results. And I think this will show up better. But one thing that I have focused on is increasing more information that's displayed in the modal when it's popped up. So I have the card right here, description, more text, and I set up to where it shows a little attribute on the corner. I set up some use cases, so depending on what the card actually has, will show up their attribute. Some of the use case switch cases are different because some cards have a specific attribute while others have it as a separate result term. And the biggest issue was the pendulum cards. As you can see, they have multiple descriptions. I'm still working out right now, but I set up an accordion so that way you can show or hide the actual description without taking so much space. I'm still working on how I will implement that, but as you can see here, since it only has one set of description, I went ahead and just kept it over here, visible. Same thing with the spells and trap cards, since they have less information than what a monster would. I have it set up the same way, and showing this would be from here. So since all these cases have the same display of data, they all share the same return body for the modal. And then all the pendulums, since they have the dual descriptions, I had that set up with the accordions right here. And then spell and trap cards, since they had the least amount of data that I had to display, they have their own over here. Card details, and this is where I have it set up for the attributes. Just a simple switch case, and depending on what it is, it returns the specified file or image. later on, once I get this done, I'm going to go ahead and set up the collection, or I guess the profile page. And from there, I'm going to go ahead and set up to where users can create their own collections slash decks. And then once that's set up and connected to the backend, users will be able to add to their collection either straight from the display view right over here with this button, or through the card's details.